In this programming tutorial, we are going to use 4 languages: Python, JavaScript, Kotlin, and Java. Why 4 languages at the same time? Because this way you will be able to see the differences and especially the similarities of all these languages, and you will better understand the core concepts of programming. Why did I pick these 4 languages specifically? I could have chosen others, but these 4 are good candidates. Python, for example, has become very popular lately. It's used in data engineering, in deep learning, and so on, and these fields have grown exponentially. JavaScript, well, this is probably the most popular language, so it's a must for any programmer. You can find it in front-end, in back-end, mostly anywhere. Java is a language that is also very popular, and it's used especially in big enterprise applications. It's a structured language, so it forces you to write organized code. I also know this language very well. Kotlin is probably my favorite language now. It's a modern language that introduces nice features, so it's easier to write than Java, but it also keeps the nice characteristics of enterprise languages. Later we will see why this language is so interesting. I am going to execute these programs so you can see what they do. They are basically a version of the typical Hello World program, which is meant to display Hello World on the screen. But in this case, I've chosen different messages for the different languages, so you will see a different message every time I execute them. Let's, for example, execute the Python program. As you can see, it displays hi from Python. Forget about the other messages that you see here. Just focus on the output, the message. Let's execute now the JavaScript version. You will see a similar message, in this case, hi from JS. Now the Kotlin version, it will display hi from Kotlin again. And the Java version, similarly, you will see hi from Java. You can see that the Java program is a little bit more complex, but for now, just focus on the print line, the one that is printing the message. Same with Kotlin, just focus on this statement. The JavaScript and the Python versions, they only have one line, so you don't have any distractions. Let's analyze these little programs because they're very small and at the same time they have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Let me execute it again first. In this program, I'm using the print function. This function is meant to print some message on the screen. You can see the output here below. We will talk about functions in more detail later, but for now, a function is like a piece of code, a piece of little program that does something. There are functions to print messages on the screen, but also to send emails, writing files, calculating mathematical operations, and many more. In this case, we are using the print function, which is a function that is very useful, and you will use it a lot, especially when you're learning programming, to display messages and understand what your program is doing. When you call a function, when you use a function, you will see some familiar syntax. For example, you will see the name of the function and then parentheses and then something inside, in this case a text that we want to display, and usually text is surrounded by these quotes in most languages. As you can see in JavaScript, the syntax is very similar. The name is different, it's not print but console.log, but you can also see the parentheses and the message surrounded by quotes. You can also see this semicolon, which in JavaScript is optional. You can remove it, but for now I will keep it. In Kotlin, you see the similar syntax. The print is not called print but println, but you can also see the parentheses in the message surrounded by quotes. There is no semicolon at the end. In Java, more of the same. The name of the function is a bit longer, system.out.println, but again, the parentheses and the quotes surrounding the message. The semicolon is mandatory in Java. You need to put it. What is a program? A program is basically a list of instructions or statements. This is, for example, one instruction or statement that prints a message on the screen. I will copy this line several times, and I will change the message in them, so you will see different messages in the output. I will execute it, and as you can see, you see the same messages in the same order. I will do it, for example, in another language, in Java. I will copy the print and change the message, so you see a different output, and execute it. In Java, sometimes it takes a little bit longer because it's a compiled language. I will talk about later. And as I said, focus on the instructions here. Just forget about the other lines of the program for now.